Honorable members, please take your allotted seats. We're going to have a slight departure from the usual practice because of the crucial nature of this particular statutory instrument and the impact it's likely to have on the economy and on the people of our country. I think it is but necessary that we allow the minister a few minutes to introduce the statutory instrument by way of a brief statement to the House before the instrument is laid, so that we can better comprehend the impact and the content of the instrument itself. Mr. Minister, is he here? I'm advised that is in accordance with SO 18.7, which reads, a minister or member on tabling a paper may make a short explanatory statement of its contents. So over to you, Mr. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, with your leave, I beg to lay on the table of this honorable House the following paper: the Work Permit Fees Regulations 2024, the Work Permit Act 2023, Act number 11 of 2023, Statutory Instrument number 1 of 2024. Our Honorable Speaker, I am pleased to be here. Let me start by wishing the Sixth Parliament the very best in this 2024 and beyond. I look forward to continuing the strong relationship we started with Parliament in the Fifth Parliament. Thank you very much. Before this House today is a statutory instrument for the increase of work permit fees and related issues. Our motivation for doing this review is twofold. Number one, work permits all over the world serve as a control instrument. In addition, they also contribute to raising much needed funds for the governance of the country. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, when I took over the leadership of the ministry sometime last year on my 52nd birthday, I discovered that work permit fees charged in Sierra Leone were very ridiculously low. From a very personal experience, 30 years ago, I was an expert in Liberia, and my employers paid $1,000 US for my work permit fees. Today, the highest work permit fees paid in Sierra Leone is 6,250 liras. which is equivalent of around $240 or so. For other levels of, for other types of jobs, the fees are as ridiculous as 500,000 old liros. So my team and I commissioned regional studies to ensure that Sierra Leone did not lag behind when it comes to what we charge. Because the downside to that is it will attract all manner of persons. Just like we have made a cybersecurity and crime bill here a couple of years ago, the argument was cybersecurity is a global crisis, and therefore, it must have a global response. So we have done regional surveys, and it is on the basis of that regional survey that we have presented these reviewed work permit fees. Honorable members, you could also recall that over the years, this country has continued to battle with serious youth unemployment on all fronts. At the same time, we have continued to see all manner of non-Sierra Leoneans picking up jobs that Sierra Leoneans could do. We believe that the work permit will help to stem that tide for all the right reasons. You could also recall that one of the things for the work permit is that expatriation should not be forever. Expats who come to work in Sierra Leone, like indeed in all other countries, should have a rigorous program of succession by which they should be able to transfer skills, knowledge, and core competencies to their prospective Sierra Leonean successors. So going forward, my ministry, the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, will work with CEOs of various companies to designate clear succession plans so that we could put on the fore the localization of some key roles. Let me make it clear, we are not against expatriation. We realize and we understand that Sierra Leone has a dearth of skills in particular areas of which we require experts. We also note that Sierra Leone also exports labor to other countries. So this should not be mistaken as xenophobic. It should not be mistaken as a war against expatriation. All we seek to achieve is to ensure that skills and competencies available in any country, are utilized. The argument to that is, even for the employers, that is very good, because experts are pretty expensive creatures. My boss used to tell me in Liberia, so it will reduce business costs for them. So this is something we seek to do together. In coming days, we will continue to engage. Before we go to this point, we actually engaged the tripartite partners. We met with the Sierra Leone Labour Congress. We met with the Work Permit Committee. We met with the Sierra Leone Employers Federation. So we did extensive consultations. But that by itself is not enough. We will continue to educate the public on this. This is a bill born out of our shared desire, to ensure that Sierra Leoneans are mainstreamed, particularly in view of His Excellency's commitment to create 500,000 jobs in the next 5 years. When I was here for parliamentary screening, one of the committee members of the appointment committee asked me, raised the issue that for there are several Sierra Leonean jobs for which foreigners are brought in. I assured them that as long as I get the backing of Parliament, we will do necessary reforms to ensure that those jobs will remain Sierra Leoneans and will have Sierra Leoneans performing those roles. Just to reassure you, we are also working with the local content agency and all others in the same employment continuum to ensure that Sierra Leoneans are mainstreamed without disadvantaging the employers themselves. So going forward, we will expect, this Parliament should expect to see advertisements for all the jobs that foreign companies are offering. That's the Law Employment Act 2023, until you exhaust local markets and ensure that there are no competent Sierra Leoneans before you go further afield to bring in experts. My ministry is fired up. We are ready, prepared, and willing to lead this on behalf of the good people of Sierra Leone. So my word is short remark, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Let me end on that note and look forward to deepening this conversation subsequently. Thank you.
I thank the Minister for the statement to the House and for clarifying the important issues involved for the edification not only of the House, but also of the general public, of the increase in work permits contained in the instrument, statutory instrument number 3 of 2024. For the new members, I want you to follow the procedure about statutory instruments. I will refer you to section 170, subsection 7 of the Constitution. It provides that the statutory instrument, when laid before the House, will mature into law after 21 days. Provided, however, there is no motion for its annulment. We cannot amend it. We cannot add or subtract, but we can reject it or accept it. That's all we can do. And that has to be predicated on a motion by a member of this House. So for this one, I don't know whether there is any motion. Yes, you have the floor.
The Speaker, honorable members, as agreed by the entire leadership of this House, when you stood down Parliament 15 minutes, I'm here to move a motion. But before I move, I'm a little bit skeptical because I was asked to move, of which I'm ready to do, and a seconder was proposed as well. But I see the seconder is not around. I don't want any. I don't know what's going on. I don't want any. If the seconder is not around, can we know what's going on before I move on? I decline.
We have the deputy speaker here, and also the chief whip.
Okay, so all right, that was my only concern. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I stand on section 170, subsection 7, in tandem with SO 25(1). And on that note, I move that this statutory instrument be debated by this honorable House. I give notice that this statutory instrument be debated by this honorable House. The guidelines given in SO 25(2) and SO 28(3) will be strictly followed for the needful to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any seconder to the motion?
Mr. Speaker, the notice of motion. When the motion is announced.
Very well. Thank you. It is now up to you, the mover of the motion, to do the needful. And I've already already been assured by the Deputy Leader of his readiness to second the motion when it is ready. Any announcements? Mr. Minister, sorry, you and I have an unwritten agreement, so I will excuse you.
Announcement. Members of Parliament are kindly informed that there will be a pre-legislative hearing on the bill entitled the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Financing of Terrorism and Financing the Proliferation of Weapons of Mass Destruction Act 2023 on Monday, the 29th January 2024 at 11 a.m. In respect thereof, members are encouraged to pick the bill at the dispatch section after today's sitting.
Any other? Finish?
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I stand on Section 93(3) of the Constitution of Sierra Leone to raise to this House. Mr. Speaker, yesterday we saw the Anti-Corruption Commissioner recovering a huge sum of money for the state, for which I must commend him for very good work. But I am also concerned, Mr. Speaker, that during the process, one of the reasons he gave for him recovering the money is the lack of trust in the judiciary, and that's what captured my attention. And I think it is necessary that when we are occupying state institutions at that end, we should also understand that some of the statements we make also infringe on the performance of state institutions like the judiciary. That statement was unfortunate, and that statement also has a tendency for the integrity and the uprightness of the judiciary to be washed under the carpet. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I also want to bring to your notice. Sorry, Mr. Speaker, the fact that it is not before. Can you tell us the thing? So we know exactly what's happening. Some of us is not listening. Mr. Speaker, can I proceed? It's a public notice. He said, and I quote him, that the reason why I am enforcing the collection of stolen money is because the judiciary has not helped the ACC enough in recovering state-looted funds. And that statement is unfortunate.
Mr. Speaker, let me sound a bunch of order. Mr. Speaker, for the record, the Honorable from that end just said that he made his statement categorically clear that the judiciary is not trustworthy. Now he has explained. But I listened to him yesterday. What he said was that people don't have trust. He did not say the ACC. He said people don't have trust in the process of the court. That was what Ben Kifla said. He did not attack the court. Let my colleague don't try to get sympathy from the court or from the judiciary. Thank you. That was not what he said.
Mr. Speaker, in fact, from what the Chief Whip of this House has stated, he has also, in fact, vilified and increased the volume of what I'm saying here. That if you say the people and the ACC boss is having the evidence in which the people who are caught were willing to pay, they were willing to pay, and you have the evidence already. Why not go to court? Can I read what the Ministry of Information posted on their website? Mr. Speaker, with your leave.
Mr. Speaker, is it
Mr. Chief Whip, please allow me.
No, but you introduce something that is always
Allow him. The Speaker has the right to rule him out of order. The Speaker has the right to rule him out of order. Please allow him, please. It's for the good of all of us.
Mr. Speaker, can I read? In many cases, we have resorted to recovery of stolen monies rather than wasting time to seek just judgment
that does not come in time because the judiciary is. Mr. Speaker, our colleagues on the other side think they are helping government. They are not helping government. This is a shame on the judiciary. It's a big shame. If the anti-cap institution cannot trust the judiciary, who am I to trust that judiciary? If you are running an international policy, how can you trust the judiciary? But you are here how you are not helping the government. It's a shame on you. Exactly. It's a shame.
Honorable members, let's have decorum. I'm going to rule both sides out of order. And in doing so, I'm going to refer you to SO 3211. And for your edification, I would like to read: the conduct of the President and judges, or the performance of judicial functions by other persons, and the personal conduct of members of Parliament shall not be referred to except upon a substantive motion moved on that for that purpose.
Mr. Speaker.
So please.
Mr. Speaker, another issue before you adjourn.
No, I'm coming.
Okay.
Take heed that this is the wrong arena for us to impugn the integrity of the judiciary. We should not be encouraging this kind of thing. No doubt, the maker of the statement outside of this house will bear responsibility for his statement. But let us not bring it here and adopt it or make reference to it as if we're giving credence to the validity of that statement. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Mr. Speaker, clearly. Mr. Speaker, also let me draw your attention. And this one thing we struggle with in the fifth parliament. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of this parliament is to make laws. And when we spend our time looking at either bills or agreements, we do so in good faith. I want to draw your attention to the Finance Act, which we recently passed and which was signed, which has just been signed by the President. Mr. Speaker, when we are talking about imported beer here and other related drinks,
Honorable member.
Mr. Speaker, let me land.
Honorable member. Again, let me take this opportunity to cut you short midstream, especially when you are in flight. I don't want you to crash. But you've already drawn my attention to the point that you're about to make. And let me assure you that I have taken appropriate action.
On that note, thank you. Mr.
Mr. Speaker, before, let me just take it. Mr. Speaker, it's appalling that whenever issues relating to corruption are mentioned, Parliament grounds at it. You know, I want to look at one of our primary responsibilities.
That is not correct.
It is.
No.
When he was talking about
you say whenever matters of corruption,
yes,
we frown.
Yes. Members, and a good number of members.
No, we don't frown. First of all, it is the responsibility of this Parliament and every member to ensure in our conduct and behavior that we demonstrate to be the first respecter of the laws we pass.
Thank you.
Before we expect the rest of mankind to obey the laws. we should always be, we are the lawmakers. How can we make a law and then turn around and disrespect the law? So please, let it, I mean, it has to be extraordinary for this parliament to do a thing like that.
Please, I think you need induction for leadership. Please, so that you speak like leaders. Thank you,
Mr. Speaker, let me just come. You see, your statement does not even deserve response. Mr. Speaker, somebody from the back. Mr. Speaker, somebody from the back should have responded to. Yeah, next time you don't say SO52. Note that.
It's past 12. I want to move that with SO. Stay SO52.
Honorable members, this house stands adjourned to Tuesday, the 30th of January at 10 a.m.